you just didn't have time to be scared. Yep. You had a job to do, you had all your mates, there was 10, a crew of 10, and I can honestly say I never felt scared. I mean, you were anxious, the same as you would be in a car that was going at a high speed. You'd be aware of things, but I don't know, we just got used to what we had to do and did it happily. Oh yes, we knew the day the war had finished. We were very much in communication with what was going on in Australia, and see, Darwin was right in the middle of Australian affairs, and once the war had been successfully concluded, well, we didn't go out on these rather hairy trips that we'd been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, but decided to get ourselves south as quickly as we could and to get out and get on with living. You do your own thing, you get out as soon as you can, personally. So when we came out at the end of the war, I got leave as soon as I could, and then went ahead and got myself organised to go to university and start on the new life. It all happened fairly quietly, you know, and we knew that we were no longer needed and required. Documents of discharge, our discharge documents were given to us, and we were set out and we were free. It was a strange, interesting time, because everybody, you know, in Australia knew that there was nothing more to fight about. So the sooner you could get back home, the better. And that's what we decided to do. I did later on go back because our prisoners of war were dependent on Catalinas to come home as quickly as possible if they had been sick. So I had a couple of trips from Sydney up to Manila Harbour in the Philippines. These guys had been sick and were brought to Manila by Air Force people, and we were responsible to get them all the way back down to Sydney. So that was one of the most worthwhile things of the war as far as I was concerned, bringing these guys, Australian boys, who'd been prisoners of war. And they were just so thankful. You can imagine, after being a prisoner of a Japanese for a while, they were so thankful, and they'd do it. If you say, oh, let's clear that, they'd immediately up. There was no tomfoolery or questioning at all what you said. And they would tell us a little bit of the stories of what had happened, and it was very sad, most of them. And of course, they were guys who'd been picked out as being rather sick and needed as quick a repatriation as possible. That was the most worthwhile time of the war as far as I was concerned, bringing these guys back home again. So all that sort of happened in a kind of a maelstrom of disorganisation, but I stayed as long as I felt I could be useful, while at the same time looking forward to the time when I'd be able to go to university and begin life again.